All right, good afternoon, everybody. We are just about to hear the bell for the close. Well, I better mute myself here. Hold on just a second. There we go. All right, Benjamin, how you doing? We're gonna give everyone about 60 seconds to get here, guys. Obviously, we're started right here. Let me pop out this chat. Beautiful. All right, then I can get rid of that. So we'll give everyone, like I said, about a minute. We just had the bell. Everyone gets settled in. Hope everyone's doing well today. Can everybody hear me? See my face? You're going to see my screen here in a couple of minutes. Okay. Everybody have a good day today? All right, so if anyone's I'm going to take the chat questions on YouTube, guys. So don't put the questions in the Discord. See, I'm obviously not at my trading computer, I'm at my little studio here, so I have my screen space is kind of at a premium. All right, so let me get everything set up here, and we will be ready to go. All right, let's pull that up. Go. Close all those out. Get the slideshow going. Beautiful. All right. Hey, no problem. Thanks everyone for being here. This is good. Yeah. All right, so guys, I'm going to do, I got about 20 to 25 minutes of prepared material. And, well, yeah, probably closer to 30. It's tough for me to keep the chat up when I'm doing that, although I will check in on it. So, but I will leave a good 15 minutes or so at the end for questions. At the very end of this presentation, guys, actually before the questions, I'm going to tell you about something I've got coming out next week. It's a free kind of mini video course that I put together specifically for futures traders, but it's got a little bit of a twist on it. It's going to launch on Monday. It is completely free. I will tell you about it and tell you how you can sign up for it. So I'm looking forward to getting some feedback on that. I'm trying a few new things the end of 2023 here, so hopefully that goes through. Second of all, we do have a giveaway thanks to our good friends here at Blue Sky Trading. And so Josh will be posting a link to sign up for that. You got to sign up, and then we will spin the wheel of names at the end, and Josh will be awarding a free $25,000 evaluation account. So if you're somebody who's been holding out for that, today is the day. I've got a special giveaway coming next weekend as well, or next week as well, in conjunction with this new product I'm going to launch. So I'll be talking about that again before the questions. So how'd everybody do today? We green, we red, neither, just watching. I had a couple good trades this morning, then I've been focused on doing some recording the rest of the day. I had a lot of personal distractions so far in calendar 2023. It'd take me 20 minutes to go through it all, but a lot of, thankfully my health is fine, but a lot of not life-threatening, but some major health stuff with some family members, a lot of it unexpected. It's been a very hectic calendar 2023 for me, but it's good because I sit here and tell people, you know, that they have to integrate trading with their everyday lives, and every time something like this happens, I take it as a lesson to help me teach other people. You know, my 2023 profits are pretty good, despite all this. Not quite where I would like to be, but if you had told me, you know, back in January, hey, you're going to have made this much money the first 7 months of the year. Oh, and by the way, you're going to deal with all this outside shiz as well. I'd be pretty happy with it. So yeah, it's been kind of wild. It's been kind of wild, but like I say, I try to, you know, That's a whole different conversation. So anyway, guys, we got this disclaimer. Somebody says it's not streaming. Can the rest of you can hear me because you're answering my question. Can you see the disclaimer? Can you hear me in the my volume should be fine. Might want to check your computer volume. Okay, you can see me, you can see my face, you can see my disclaimer, you can hear me. Okay, we're good to go. Excellent. All right, so again, the last couple months I haven't done a lot of these events, and that's because I've had other things going on. It has nothing to do with the guys at Blue Sky. It's been a conflict on my end. So I do thank Josh and the Blue Sky team for inviting me back. I look forward. This is the first of 4 straight Thursdays we're going to do trading psychology events, guys. So I'm really excited for this. Once we get through 2 or 3 weeks of this, guys, I need your feedback on this. You like the series, you don't like them, you want to see more Q&A, you want to see more one-offs. If you like this event, guys, I'm not going to spoil anything, but if we get through this and you say, hey, gosh, I really like that series, I've got like a 5 or 6 part series on some technical analysis stuff that I'll do in the fall. So just let me know. Again, we thrive on feedback with these type of situations, right? So also, because I haven't done this for the last couple of months, I just want to let you know who the hell I am. My name is Matt Hensley. I'm the head of trading education at Teresius Trading. Teresius Trading is a small family-owned and operated. Well, it's family owned and operated simply by me. I've worked for the education arm of TradeStation for a couple of years. I've worked for trading education firms, both large and small. And I'm probably one of the very few educators out there who does actually make more money trading than trading education. So trade education really is my side job, guys, right? Make sure who's... Oh, okay. Just making sure nobody's telling me there's a problem there. Okay, so with that in mind, let's go ahead and launch into the most common mental trading mistakes. And guys, I'll be checking the chat periodically. You guys, anyone that messes with PowerPoint knows it shoots everything else to the background. So I want to get through about the 20-25 minutes I have prepared, and then I'll stay and take questions for about 15-20 minutes after that. So guys, there's a lot of mental mistakes when it comes to trading, and there's this misconception in trading, and this was me as well, right? When I first started, I attended events like this. I attended webinars. I bought video courses, and all I wanted was the strategies. Just give me the strategy. I'm going to go trade them. I'm going to go make millions. That's all I want to do, right? I don't need to hear all this crap. I actually read Mark Douglas's book, The Disciplined Trader. Can't recommend it highly enough. Before I even started trading, laughed at the people in the book making all the mistakes that they made, and then I went and made all those mistakes, right? Even knowing about this. So trading psychology, guys, is well taught, but it's still under taught. And so that's why the next 4 weeks we're really going to zero in on what's going on up in the skull, because that's what holds us back, right? You can be handed, prop firms have done studies on this, guys. You can be handed winning strategies without having gone through any preparatory, mental work or psychological work and not be successful. Because it's a whole, you guys know this, I'm preaching to the choir, it's a whole different animal seeing the red and the green on the screen than it is when you're paper trading or when you're seeing something, back testing, or you're looking at a chart saying, oh, there's my setup right there, right? It's a whole different animal to get in. And guys, there are almost no barriers now to what I call trading with consequences, right? 'Cause paper trading, in theory, there's no consequences, right? Other than whatever data fees you got to pay for. But when you're even trading an eval account, guys, you bomb on an eval account, you got to reset it, right? So there are consequences there. Now, if you make one trade in a 50K account here at Blue Sky, you blow it out. Well, that's $2,000 losses on paper, but it's, $85 or whatever the reset fee is to reset that. So there's still consequences with that. And then obviously, when you're in a funded account, or if you're trading your own money, there is consequences to every live trade that you place. It used to be there were some barriers to that, right? Guys, I can't tell you what a pain in the ass it was to set up a futures account 6 or 7 years ago. The run your credit card and have a rhythmic login and all that is done on the Blue Sky site and other places. That just wasn't the case. I worked as a contractor for TradeStation. To set up a futures account with them was a 20-page application. It was a nightmare. So there's no fewer barriers now. The flip side of that is, of course, there's good to not be, to being light barriers to trading with consequences, and there's the bad, right? We don't have necessarily the same respect for some of that, those consequences, as it were. But the mental mistakes that we make trading, almost every single one of them goes into 4 categories, right? You can tell me in the chat, I'll check it here in a second, if in which of these is your biggest problem. Most of us struggle with more than one, but which of these was your biggest problem? We have overtrading, in theory. Come on. Why is that not? There we go. Overtrading. We have chasing / FOMO, fear of missing out, right? Poor position sizing, and bag holding. So I'm gonna watch the chat just in a couple seconds here, guys. But just type in the YouTube chat there. Which of the ones you struggle with the most, or the one? Okay, for me it was chasing. Okay, I started as a small cap stock trader, right? So I'm trading those garbage $2 and $3, lucky if they're even listed in the Russell stocks, right? And so, it's not uncommon for one of those to go up 20, 30, 40, 100% pre-market. And, I was that, they talk about those idiots that buy a $3 stock that's up 50% on the day. I spent a good 6 months as one of those idiots, right? I felt that pain of, again, the fear of missing out, and then the pain of losing again and again on trades. The really crappy thing about chasing is, and chasing is very common in the futures markets as well, you're successful at it just enough to keep you coming back, right? I remember the quickest, before I got into futures, the quickest I ever made a bunch of money, it was it was a biotech stock. I made $5,000 on it in literally like 4 minutes, right? That was a really good return. Okay, it was up like 80%. I chased it. It went from like $5 to $15 over the course of a couple of days. But you know what I did with that $5,000? I gave it all back in the next week on chasing on other stocks, right? So again, it's something that let me see. Let me get this up here. So bag holding, FOMO, 1 and 2. Okay, yeah. Overtrading, guys. Overtrading is one. As I begin to, I've moved. I still do options in my IRA, and I have a small sort of just play around account that I do options in. And, that's where I really kind of cut my teeth in the education business. Was doing, I had an alert service in a live trading room for option swing trading, some day trading, mostly swing trading. Working with a lot of people who are just trying to generate an extra income. Well, as I transition more to futures, a lot of my education has transitioned to futures. And most of us, we do this, or we're attempting to do this for a living, right? So it's a whole different audience, different challenges, but there are some universal truths, right? For me, bag holding was the biggest problem I noticed in swing traders, right? You have a trading plan, especially in small cap stocks. Overtrading to me seems to be the one that futures traders have the most trouble with, right? We get into this. Well, you know what? That's the first one we're going to talk about. So let's get right into it. Emotions behind overtrading. Okay, so these are the things that are going through our head when we're overtrading, right? My last 3 trades were winners. If I trade more often, I'll make more, right? And this isn't, anybody who's dealt with this, you understand it's a fallacy. One of 2 things happens. Let's say you get up. Let's say you're in an eval account and you get up $600 in your eval, right? And if you obviously you have your consistency rule, but you want to get that last 200 or 300 to make it under that the max profit for the day under eval account. So you make a trade. Well, then you lose 400, right? So you've gone from 800 down to 400. I got to get that back. Okay, so then you lose 500. Now all of a sudden, in just 2 trades, with the wrong mindset, you've gone from plus 600 to red 100 on the day, right? And now your brain is wrecked. Now I got to get that back. Well, then you make another trade. Maybe you get 100 back on that one, but then you lose 300. And what was a really good day when you didn't know when to call it quits, all of the sudden becomes a day where, well, gosh, those days used to ruin me, guys, right? When I first got into, I did what I recommend and almost nobody does anymore, especially with funded trader accounts, right? I spent almost 6 full months paper trading futures before I put a single live dollar on the line, right? And one of my biggest problems in those 6 months, and it's partially just because I was trading a lot more than I'm used to, and partially because it was still on paper. And listen, I can sit here and tell you to paper trade all day, and I very firmly believe in it, but I also understand where people will tell you newer traders should paper trade constantly, right? But for those that have been in for a little while, I say, well, kind of law of diminishing returns, because I know it's not real money. I do get that, which is again another reason why I'm a big fan of companies like Blue Sky that allow you to trade for consequences, but don't make you lose 20 grand. I lost, as I've said before, I lost almost 40 grand in my first year of trading. It took me almost another full year and a half until I got that back. So I'm sitting 2.5 years into my career as break even. Let me tell you, that's a mental journey. But it's helped me help a lot of people that have gone through the same things, right? Well, I'm off to a bad start this week. I need to make up this loss, right? I need to get that money back. Okay, the market took $500 from me on Monday. I got to get it back on Tuesday, right? Or if you're down a little today, saying, well, you know what? If I make that $1,000 tomorrow, I'll be good on the weekend. I once had a week, guys, when I was in options, and I was up per contract. Okay, so position size and all that per contract, I was up about $400 on the week, which doesn't sound like a lot, but again, sometimes I trade 10, 20, 25 contracts in options, right? So I was up $400. I gave back $300 per contract on my last trade. So what was a really nice week, right? I was going to take a little money out and go somewhere for the weekend, ended up barely green, right? Worked 40 some hours a week for I think it was about $800. That's nice, right? That's more money than I made when I was coaching coaching high school basketball, but it was still that's a thing, right? I overtraded. I knew I should have walked away from my desk because I knew I don't trade well on Friday afternoons opening new swing trades. I should have walked away. I didn't. Okay, so how do we correct these emotions? What are things we need to get into our head? Guys, no, that's fine. Trade your setups and know your strengths. Okay, I have specific setups I'm looking for. If I don't see a single setup I like, I don't trade that hour, the morning, the day. My average, guys, and listen, I know a lot of people in here like to trade a ton and all that, and good for you. And I consider myself almost like an intraday swing trader, right? My average over the course of the last night, I meant to look this up, so let me guesstimate. Probably about 2 to 3 trades per day, 4 to 5 on a really busy day. So let's call it 12 per week. I think that's about right. Okay, 12 to 15 per week. Some day, of course, some weeks more, some weeks less. Some people are like floored by that, because some people, I've worked with some of you, make 12 trades in the first half hour. Right? That's just not my style. I'm looking for bigger moves. Again, in my personal account, I'm playing with a little more size, right? So what may be if you're just doing a few micros, what may be a, $600 trade can actually be a $2,000 trade, depending on size, depending on strength. Again, I have a whole system that I, grade my trades, A, B, or C. A trades get more weight, B trades don't. You understand, it's a whole process for me. Okay, but I have very specific setups, okay? I am a big advocate, we don't have time to go into all this today, of having a playbook, right? Whether you want to call it playbook, play, setup, strategy, whatever the case may be, right? Every play that I have has a name. It has a set of a checklist to entry. It has a trigger to entry, and then it has very specific money management rules. I'm out at this point. The only thing that I play around with in it is after my first profit target is filled, right? I have a set stop loss. So let's say I'm in 15 micros, right? I have a set stop loss, all 15 out at this point, and then I'll usually have a spot where I take off 10 to the upside. Right? And then those last 5, I'll either let them run, et cetera, et cetera. That's just an example of how I tend to manage my trades. But if I'm doing a trade, that's it's an RTT trade. That's a VWAP tap trade right there, right? I'm not just saying I think it's going to go up or I think it's going to go down based on this or that, or what somebody in the chat room says or anything like that, or somebody on Twitter or any social media, the Trading View feed, whatever the case may be, right? That is ultimate freedom in trading, guys. When you're trading your own setups, you're not relying on anybody else. And, I have a whole process for that. It's actually part of the video course that I've put together for next week, which I'll tell you about in a little bit. Okay. If I see a setup, I take it. If I don't, I don't. End of story. I've had 2 days this year I didn't make a single trade. Okay. Because I don't trade a lot in the afternoons because the setups that I trade tend to happen most often between, I'm on Central Time, so the markets are open 8:30 to 3. The most trading I do is in the 2 hours from 9 to 11, so 10 to noon Eastern Time, right? That's probably, if I had to guesstimate, probably a good 2/3 of my trading is in that time, okay? So I know exactly what I'm trying to do. I don't, let me see, let's see if there's any questions real quick here. Chasing, okay. All right. So yeah, so that's basically how we correct those emotions. Okay, you have to listen. If you have a setup that occurs 25 times a day, that's fine. Okay, but you need to be ready to take that setup every time it meets your criteria. Okay, because otherwise you don't know if the trade works or not. The real work goes into building out and editing and changing and tweaking those playbooks. Once the market opens, I have my playbooks. I follow them to the letter. Okay, if for some reason one of my playbooks just started losing money left and right, well, I'm going to pull that and I'm going to put it back to the drawing board, right? And I'm going to say, okay, what's going on here? Almost every playbook I've ever had, there's times where the market is just not conducive for it, right? Calendar 2023 has been a great momentum, intraday momentum, right? There's been some, really good daily swings, right? Some of those zero DTE options has just been swinging the hell out of the markets left and right, especially the futures market, right? So that's good. But occasionally, the market's open. Maybe the ES has like a 1.8 5-minute ATR, and I'm just like, all right, I'll check back in a half hour, right? That's another mental tip. If you're trading like me and you're not somebody who has to do 25 trades a day, I get up sometimes 20 minutes, half hour, and let the market reset a little bit. Let the highs and the lows hit. Whatever the case may be, right? And because if I stare at a screen, I'll talk myself into something. That's again, I know this from having done this for so long and having kept very detailed trading journals about what mistakes I've made and when. Okay, another thing, guys, because I get asked this a lot, should I have a daily goal or a daily stop loss? If you're new or you're struggling to be consistently profitable or you struggle with overtrading, my answer to that question, I believe, is yes. Now, the flip side to that is somebody will tell you, well, if your daily goal is 1,000 and you're hitting it a lot, maybe you're denying yourself, a $2,500 a day or $3,000 a day. And again, guys, I'm just pulling these numbers out of thin air, so don't, Matt said I can make 3,000. No. I understand that, and there is a time to take the training wheels off, and that's a good analogy, right? Training wheels keep you from tipping over and keep you from going too fast. Once you can get your balance, though, you want to get those things off so you can rev it up a little bit, right? But initially, if you're somebody who struggles with overtrading, a time frame goal or stop loss, and I use this the same deck for swing trading stuff, guys. So you can see like a weekly goal, so. For example, in your, if you've got say a 50K evaluation account, and I believe approximately 800, 850 would be the consistency goal, I would drop it down to about 600 and say, okay, that's my goal. If I hit 400 on the downside, again, guys, it's just an example. Nobody come complaining to me a week or two from now. I'm done for the day. I go back on the sim for the day, right? And all you got to do is hit that 600 more than you hit the 400, and you'll get there eventually, right? Now, if you're hitting the 400 every day, if you're hitting that daily stop loss every single day, now you need to evaluate. Now you need to say, are my strategies working? Are my systems working? My playbooks, whatever the case may be, right? Or is this just the market just not conducive to my style of trading right now? Okay, so like for example, Bob's daily day trade stop loss is $100. I know that's light, but it's just an example. If he hits this, he no longer opens new trades. So this prevents that thought of I have to make this up, right? And guys, I know Josh has talked through it in the room before, and I'm sure maybe there's a video for this somewhere. If you're using the Rhythmic, you can plug it in there to automatically take you out of trades if, let's say, you hit $500 stop loss, or you hit it, whatever the case may be, right? You can have it automatically lock you out. If you're somebody who just can't resist, maybe that's something to consider. It's stuff like that is a good tool, but I often say if somebody's not disciplined enough to stick to some of these things, they're going to be out of the markets pretty quickly anyway, right? So, and if you consistently hit your goal, now you can start to raise it up. You're hitting that 600 4 out of 5 days. Great, bring it up to 800, right? And okay, I'm hitting 800. You understand what I'm saying. I don't need to do 10 examples on that. All right, guys. So emotions behind chasing and fearing misses. And this is the one that killed me, guys. don't ever get into small cap stocks. It's just a lot of the same characters, and I don't want to use the term strategies because we trade strategies, but some of the marketing and some of the all of that world seemed to migrate towards crypto when crypto really got big, 4 or 5 years ago. Some of the same names that were running small cap trading rooms and got in trouble for front running a lot of things. I see some of those same names pumping the crap coins, right? That's one of the primary reasons I just, hey, you F with crypto, good for you. That's one reason I don't go anywhere near that stuff. It's the same snake oil salesmen that were in small cap stocks about 10 years ago when I first got started, right? But what are the what's the emotions behind chasing? This is it. This is my trade, right? This is the one that's going to make me 100%. Obviously, small cap stocks. This is the trade that's going to catch me that 100-point move in the NQ or that 50-point move in the ES, right? This is it. This is the trade. Well, it's probably not, okay? And even if it is, the analogy I always like to use, if an experienced trader and an inexperienced trader both think that there's going to be a 100-point move in the NQ, right? They both think that, and let's say they're both right. The inexperienced trader is going to sit there going, okay, how do I catch 99% of that move? Where the experienced trader is going to be like, all right, how do I catch 50% of that move and then get right on to the next trade, right? What do I need for a little extra confirmation? Right? Because in the event they're wrong and it only moves 20 and then reverse, the experienced trader either got in 15 points or not at all, whereas the inexperienced trader sitting there probably down 20, 30 points after watching what would have been a really nice win evaporate in front of his eyes, okay? So look at this thing. It's up 30%. Again, I'm using percentages here, right? It's got another 30 to go. Or that, again, the NQ, it's up 50 points in the last two candles. It's got another 50. Let's get in right here, okay? And unless there's something really, sure, the NQ can certainly, and has had some really nice intraday moves. But if you're chasing a move, let's say you're playing one of the strategies I teach beginners just to help them get something on and get their playbooks is like 15-minute opening range breaks, right? And those have been really doing well especially in the indexes over the past few months. But if you get in, 5 points after the break and it's running up, okay, you're good. If you wait until you're 25 points after the break and then you're chasing it up, right? Maybe you hesitated and now you're chasing. Those are, two separate things that work together. Now, all of a sudden, you're sitting there staring red, okay? And now your emotions are creeping in, right? Okay. So, again, this is, for me, the easiest one to mentally correct, although my dumbass, it took me a little while, right? There are many different styles of traders. Okay, there's long-term investors. There's your Buffetts, right? There's scalpers. There's people that are in and out in seconds. And guys, there's everything in between. There's people like me that are as I call myself, almost an intraday swing trader, right? Day trader, I equate more with scalping. Playing for like 10, 15 points in the NQ, 5 points in the ES, in and out of a trade in less than a minute, right? I believe my average hold time on trades over the past couple of months has been about 5 to 8 minutes, depending on something I got to correct. I'm actually in losers longer than I'm in winners, so I'm thinking about adding some time constraints to a couple of my strategies, but I got to study that first. Okay, so there's people that do all of that and they make money. Well, what does that tell you guys? There will always be another trade. There's always another trade, guys. There's literally. The futures markets are, they're almost 24 hours. There's literally, billions probably, depending on when, but there's hundreds or thousands of trades you can make on a day-to-day basis. If you miss one, so the F what? There's another one coming right around the corner if you're paying attention. And if you have strategies that, play out at different times of the day. It sucks to miss a trade, especially if that's your setup, right? One of my mentors used to say, I'd rather be wishing I was in a trade than wishing I was out of a trade. Okay, so again, this is one of the more common ones, the one I struggled with, but this is one that it's like, gosh, there'll be another trade in 5 minutes. I missed a trade yesterday, guys. I got distracted on my phone. It's one of the reasons I usually put my phone on the other side of my desk, right? Somebody texted me. I was responding to text. It was an A+ setup. Would have been about, even being conservative, would have been about a 60-point win in the NQ, right? So probably at least a few $1,000s. And I just flat out missed it. By the time I looked up, entry was gone. But I didn't chase it. Even though chasing it would have made me money there, but then I might again, I would have given it back at some point if I'm going to break my rules. Okay? So I sat there wishing I was in the trade, but at least I wasn't sitting there wishing I was out of one, right? All right, let me catch up on the chat here real quick. All right, so guys, Josh has put the sign up for the giveaway in the chat. So go, if you have that closed, go in there, click on it, enter whatever information, and we will draw for that pretty soon. Okay, just a second here. Okay, let me close this out so I don't have to deal with this. Okay, I want to catch up here. Yeah, correcting emotions, trade marine. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So poor position size, guys. This one you can go down a rabbit hole as far as like, should I do this many micros or this many minis, or what's the situation? So I don't want to get into that, right? Because if I say an appropriate position size is 2 minis and somebody blows out their eval account, on one trade, then I get an angry DM, which thankfully I haven't gotten for a long time. But so just again, if you're somebody who's consistently having to reset your eval account, or you're somebody who's consistently, step one, guys, to go from consistently losing money to consistently making money in trading is a multi-step process. But step one is very easy. Stop losing so much money. Right? If you're averaging losing $1,000 a day, cut your position size. I would cut it down to, I don't know what you're trading, but let's say 1 or 2 micros, right? I always tell people, when I first got into futures and I was not aware of, companies like Blue Sky funded trader companies, I told people start with a single micro, right? Because what happens? What if the power goes out and the thing goes on, the NQ goes 100 points against you? Well, you're out a couple $100. Right, but at least you're not out 10 grand, or you're not getting margin called, right? So again, especially if you're just starting into futures, or if you're somebody who eventually funds your own account, I would start with just 2-3 micros and build up from there. Okay, so this is a poor position size, guys, especially in futures. One of the most common mistakes of new traders. So if you're doing a stock and you say, oh, this is how much I'm going to make when the stock goes up $1. Well, what if it goes down $1, right? This is how much I'm going to make when the NQ goes up 100 points. What if it goes down 50, right? Then what? Depending on, this is, when I work, clients that enter my mentorship program, I work very specifically with them on, like, one thing I will work with a client on, should you put your P&L on the screen? Right now on my domes, right, I use a program called Edge Pro X to trade. I have a column that shows me my P&L based on where everything is, right? It's right next to the ask, okay, and the ask size. For me, I need to see that. I need to be aware of where, if I'm making decisions on where to scale out, right, or especially where I'm deciding where to set my my stop loss, right? If I'm sitting there saying, gosh, you know what, I can't lose more than $800 on this trade, right? It's not a it's a B+ setup. I can lose 800 on this, but that's all I'm willing to risk. Okay, so I can see that and I know exactly where to set my stop. Some people don't react well to that. Some people who, especially get in almost the gamification of trading over the past year or two, they can't make rational decisions when they're seeing the real money there, right? They need that off. That's something I work very closely with clients on, is very individual things like that. Now, yes, even if you don't have the P&L on the screen, you know generally how you're doing, right? If I don't have my P&L on the screen and I have two trades where I hit my my max stop on both, I know I'm not going to like looking at that P&L, but I also that's my personal preference. If you're somebody who struggles with that one way or the other, change it, see what happens. Okay, things to consider when entering a position. Okay, well, we don't hold anything overnight, so we don't worry about that. Yeah, are you trying to build your account, or are you trying to hit a home run, right, guys? And as I used to say with swing trading, could you walk away from your computer for 24 hours and not stress about a trade? I'll go even I'll say this on futures, right? If you enter a trade, okay, and somebody, you got a call from a friend. I mean, this friend doesn't call you during the day unless it's an emergency, right? And you need 2 minutes to talk to that person, right? If you can't, just look away for 2 minutes, your position size is probably too big, right? Barring, some sort of news that just absolutely torpedoes or shoots something up, right? If you can't, like, I'll even go further, 30 seconds. If you can't get up, very often, guys, you know what I do, especially my first trade in the morning, depending on where it is, sometimes I will enter the trade. I will set my stop loss, right? So if stop loss hits, I'm good. I will set my initial profit target. I'll turn my speakers up, and then I walk into the kitchen and get a cup of coffee. I do that very often. Okay. So now, if I hear something trigger, yeah, I'm gonna get in there, because especially if it's triggering to the profit side, I gotta figure out where I want to take out the rest of my profit. If it's triggering into stop loss, I gotta take the other order out of the. If I haven't set a bracket order, I gotta take another order out of the market, just so something doesn't get hit, right? But if you can't do that, especially if you're trading your real money, gosh, I would really consider dropping your position size down. People always ask me, hey, how much should I drop it? I always say start with 50%. Okay, if you're somebody who's constantly blowing out a eval account, or if you're really struggling in a personal account, and this is universal, stocks, options, whatever. If you're really struggling with that, the very first thing to do is cut it 50%. You can always cut it more, okay, or even 75%. Okay. So what are some of the dumb thoughts behind bag holding? Well, it'll come back, right? Okay, I'm down 40 points, whatever. I got down 5% here, right? But I'm down 40 points the NQ. It's fine. It's coming back. Okay. Oh, guys, it's broke through support. I know there was, there's the VWAP's right there at this point. It's down 20 points but it's fine. It's coming back. All right. I can't, and this is my favorite one. I can't afford this loss. So if I don't close the trade, it's not a loss yet. Boy, a nickel for every time I saw this on Twitter from some of the crypto bros out there, right? The still bag holders from last summer, right? Or it's down, 40 points, 50 points, whatever, right? It's just, I better average down, right? I don't know what to tell you there, right? Like if you don't have a trading plan, right, in your playbook should tell you exactly where to get out of a trade. It can be 20. I'm just going to use the NQ because I know a lot of us in here trade the NQ. It can be 20 points, universal. It can be closest support. 5-minute ATR. It can be VWAP or plus or minus one standard deviation on VWAP. For every play you have to have a static stop loss. Okay, and you got to stick to it. If you're hitting it all the time, the play isn't good. Okay, and then you can throw that out, or you can tweak it. Okay, but again, you can't. Bag holding one trade can blow out months, literally months. Okay, I had a guy that I worked with when I was doing small caps. Thankfully kept a very detailed trade journal, but the first company I worked for, which no longer exists, which they kind of went a little skeezy, so that's good that they don't exist. My job was to help people that were really, really struggling, right, with our program. And it was, again, small cap stocks. I talked with a guy who, I didn't believe it until he showed me his journal, and it was complete. He was losing $10,000 on average a month over about a 6-month period, and he had a winning percentage of about 78%. Well, how the hell does that happen? Bag holding. Okay, every one of his winners or every one of his losers would eat up 5 of his winners. So his trade journal looked like this. It was plus 300, plus 700, plus 400, plus 100, plus 600, minus a negative 2,500, right? Like that was very consistently what we were seeing. He was too quick. It was a combination of being too quick to take profits and then bag holding on the downside, right? There was a whole cornucopia of things going on there. A nice little salad of bad emotions. Okay. But guys, what are the emotions behind bag holding? Oh my goodness. We do not like to admit when we're wrong, right? If this should go without saying, but if you don't believe this statement, just go. I don't care who you vote for. Go into any politician's Twitter account and look at the responses. Right? We don't like to admit when we're wrong. We don't like to admit when when the other side might be right, no matter what the situation is. Politics, sports, whatever the case may be. That's why I love trading. Right? There's a certain degree of trading that you can fake, guys, right? But either you're good at this or you're not. At the end of the day, and it shouldn't matter to anybody but yourself, right? There is so much ego in this business, right? And listen, I got an ego, right? We all do, especially in the education side, okay? But I can't tell you how many times over the years, guys that stand up and do talks at the Traders Expo, and then you find out they're losing money, or guys that throw these ridiculous, profits up on Facebook or whatever, and you find out they're paper profits, right? That's more common than you think. But it's we don't like to admit when they're wrong, but at the end of the day, at the end of the year, at the end of your career, however long it is, you're looking in the mirror and you're either a profitable trader or you're not. You can't fake it to yourself, right? And that's what I love about this business, right? There's no one I like being cockier with than myself, right? When you can look in the mirror at the end of the day and be like, yeah, you got this, dude. Like, yeah, you nailed this today, right? Sure, it's nice to have the fruits of that, but at the same time, we don't like to admit when we're wrong. The other emotion, it's not a loss until I book it. Well, I call BS on that, right? And if we weren't on YouTube, and I don't know what kind of parental things Josh has got going on, I'd speak a little more strongly on that, right? Like that's money gone, right? The money's not, unrealized loss is loss. Okay, however you want to look at it. Go look at your account balance. It'll be in there, right? I always tell people an unrealized loss is a loss, but an unrealized profit is not a profit, right? That's the mentality. It's not a profit till you book it. It is a loss even if you don't book it, right? So again, always err on the side of caution with that kind of stuff. And the emotions, of course. Come on. It will come back. No, it probably won't. The one thing, guys, to consider about bag holding, I'm going to just jump here so I can get to your questions, guys. You rob yourself of the possibility of redeploying your capital into a better trade. And guys, that's something people don't think about when they're bag holding, okay? If you're you broke your stop, get out of the trade and then go find another one. Doesn't mean you have to get into one right away. Don't revenge trade, okay? But for goodness sakes, get the money. You're just throwing good money after bad at that point, right? All right, so we are at the 40-minute mark here. So I'm going to take just a couple of minutes, guys. I want to tell you about, let me, you don't have to look at a background there. Before I take your questions, guys, I want to tell you about something really cool I've put together. So when I first started, again, I worked for a bunch of different sites. When I started my own, I needed to do a lot of homework, right, on, e-marketing, e-commerce, all that kind of stuff. I didn't know anything, right? And I am a one-man company. I don't like paying other people to do things I can learn how to do. It's taken up a lot of time, but one of the things I really like, I took a marketing course, and it was a 30-day course. But rather than give you everything at once, it dripped it out day by day. And at first I hated that, right? I was like, no, I'm ready for part 2. I'm ready for part 3. But as I went through it, I understood what the instructor was going through, saying, oh, okay, you want to kind of let this stuff marinate, right? You want to learn something, do an exercise for that thing. And again, I come from a family of educators. My mom just retired from teaching after about 42, 43 years. My dad was a college administrator for a long time, right? So I've had this stuff kind of beaten in my head over the years. When I always take handwritten notes, and my handwriting is terrible. So take handwritten notes, type them out the next day, you're like 70% more likely to retain the information, right? So I took that concept, and last summer I did a 5-day trading challenge, right? Specifically geared towards swing traders. And it was, so every day, short video, 15 to 20 minutes-ish, give or take, a worksheet or some action items, some additional stuff to do, but only one a day. And my clients loved it. They absolutely loved it. So I went back. I meant to do this months ago. And guys, obviously, like I said, I had so much personal stuff going on, which thankfully is going well and settling down right now. I did one on day trading. So it's a 5-day challenge. It's completely free, guys. The last one I actually charged for, it did pretty well. But this one, I just want to, I'm very grateful for the Blue Sky guys, let me come in here and do this. So I want to do something specifically for you guys. So it's going to launch on Monday. Okay. So you'll need to go to my website and sign up. It's not live yet, so I don't have any links to share you, but as of next Monday, it is live. I am going to eventually charge for it. But for the first 3 weeks that it's out, it's going to be completely free. So on Monday, I will post the link in Discord. I'm actually going to be out of town, but I'll post it there anyway. And then I'm going to talk about it for the next couple of weeks during this program as well, and hopefully hear from some of you that have completed it. I will tell you this. If you sign up for it, watch all the videos and watch the 5th video to the end, and I've got another special kind of little free thing for you. But I can see who's watching the videos and who's not. And I can tell you a lot of people are going to drop off after 1 day or 2. It doesn't matter how good the material is. I used to get offended at that, and then that's just how people are. This 30-day course that I took, the instructor told me, he said about 30% make it through the whole thing. at any point, not even, 3 months down the line, some people still catching up. So, but this is also a good thing for me to learn what's working and what's not for you guys, right? So again, that is going to launch on Monday. I'm really excited about it. I'll post links and all that, again, completely free. Just a nice little giveaway to you guys. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I will take any questions you have. Let me scroll up and answer any questions that you have. It can be about the topic we covered today, guys, or just trading in general. I don't have Powerball numbers, so don't ask me for that. And then in about, let's call it about 5 to 8 minutes, we are going to do the giveaway from Blue Sky. Oh, also, to celebrate this thing on Monday, guys, I'm going to be giving away a couple of hours of coaching, a couple 1-hour blocks of coaching. We'll find out a way. I want to make some of those available just to my group as well, but I'll have a couple available for the Blue Sky Discord. I will. I got to figure out how I want to do that, but I will make that available as well. My Discord link. And again, guys, my Discord does not really compete with Blue Sky's. I don't do it's more of like a message board rather than that. Let me get my link for you guys here. Oh, I'm not signed into here. I'm gonna put it in the Blue Sky General channel or the Future Lounge, guys. I'm gonna put it in the lounge. But again, stick in the Blue Sky server during the day and then pop over in the evenings. I'm going to start doing like evening Q&A over there again. Again, I had all these plans in literally January 2nd. Everything went out the window for me. So again, it's been one personal minor crisis after another, which thankfully it's like I've been waiting all day for the other shoe to drop. Yeah, it's been on January 2nd, I got a call. My girlfriend fell at her house and broke her wrist, so it had to have major surgery. She got home. She stayed with me for a couple weeks. I took her home. She found her dad on the floor having a stroke. So that was a whole thing. Then my dad was in the hospital with something we still don't know what it was. Then 3 weeks later, he was in the hospital for AFib. Yeah, it's been thankfully everybody's okay. Everybody's okay. Oh, and then after all that, my girlfriend's dad had to have a double bypass. So, and she works full time, and I've been doing the 1.5-hour round trips to check. It's I mean, this is the things you do for the people you love, right? And it's important to be there for people. It's just and I would do it all over again. It's very stressful on all of us. But again, when you got a good trading's like anything else, guys. When you got a good support system, people love you, surround you, then it's all good. I'll put the link to sign up. It's going to be on my website. I'm going to put the link in the Discord on Monday, in my Discord and the Blue Sky Discord. Okay, can you recommend a program for keeping good statistics? Well, as I understand it, at least what Josh, I think you announced this in the room, so I can say TraderView is one of the journaling softwares, and they're in the process of working out a deal to get you guys a nice discount on that. I use a program called TraderSync, but both of them, anything you can tag trades and you can sort stuff out, to me, keeping a trading journal is not optional. If you want to make a lot of money in this game, it's not optional; it's mandatory. I don't work with clients who don't keep trading journal. That's the first thing, when somebody's applying to my mentorship program or anything like that, that's one of the first questions they ask. If they're willing to start, that's great. But if no, I'm not interested in keeping a journal. All right, well, best of luck to you. See you in 6 months, right? All right, so let me again, the link is in the chat, guys, to sign up for the 25K eval account giveaway. What's your regular stop loss size and MNQ ticks? That's a good question. Let's just talk the NQ in general. And this is ticks, not handles. So we're talking every 0.25. Well, actually, let's talk about handles. Let's talk about handles, okay? I generally do not. So let's say I get into the NQ at 15,100. I'm generally not going to stay in the trade more than 15,080, right? About 20 to 25 handles is the biggest stop loss I'll put out there. Okay. It also depends on ATR as well. If the ATR is big, I'll use. If the ATR is above 18, I'll just use the ATR. 5-minute ATR for the NQ. But that's my stuff. Don't just start doing that. Make sure it works based on your stuff. Yeah, no, it's well, and that's the frustrating part with stuff like this, right, guys? I told my girlfriend this is nobody's fault. Nobody, you don't decide to have an injury or an illness. That's the frustrating. There's nobody to be mad at, right? Like, I'm not mad at anybody. It's just really frustrating, because you want to make everything better for the people you love, and you can't just snap your fingers and do it. Money solves a lot of problems, guys, but it's, yeah. Yeah, it's somebody does something stupid, you can be mad at them, right? Something like this, it's nothing to be mad at. Yeah, life gets in the way, guys. It really does. It gets in. How dare life get in the way of our trading, right? Yeah, they are. Oh, hi, Tiana. Tiana's one of my regular clients. Nice to see you. 3 accounts with, well, it's not my company, but yeah, guys, I like Blue Sky, as I always say, if somebody asks me, because they're run by traders, right? So I've had a lot of Josh and I have had a lot of conversations over the months. Some are just on trading. So, hey, there's Nolan too. I appreciate that. Appreciate that, sir. A couple of my, been over a year and they're not sick of me yet. I think that hopefully that says something. So, guys, my website is kind of under renovation right now. I'm in the process of, so I don't want to give the address, but just stay tuned. Okay, on Monday I'll be on the road for a good chunk of Monday, so I'll be on my phone and I'll be posting links. I'll be doing whatever. So I actually have a shareholders meeting to go to on Monday. So I will be at that. I'm not going to tell you what shareholders meeting. I'm just going to post pictures. You guys will go kick out of it. Hey, congratulations, Tom. Passed the 50K. I'm excited for you, sir. Hopefully in the next year or two, guys, things get a little more stable. I'm going to be traveling around again, doing some of the conventions and stuff like that. So once I do that, I'll put all that out there. As I was saying, if I ever have a paying client in a city where I'm at, where I'm doing an event, come to the event. I'll buy you a beer. All right, guys, I'm going to take about 2 more questions, and then we're going to spin the wheel o' names. Okay, so Mauricio, again, Monday, I will post links to my website on Monday. I will post links to everything on Monday. Okay, it's just not ready yet. I just wanted to give you guys a little teaser. Again, it's free and there's no limit to the amount of people that take it because it's a pre-recorded course, so you're not going to miss out. You will have the opportunity to take it. The only thing I limit is my mentorship clients because I just only have so much time. But also, guys, there's a bunch of free educational material coming from me. Like I said, I'm going to do the next 3 Thursdays, same time. We're going to be doing different topics on psychology. And if you like these, I'll do a series on technical analysis in the fall. I can go anywhere from 4 weeks to 12 weeks on that. Just, what's the old saying? If you want me to talk for 5 minutes, I need a week to prepare. If you want me to talk for 10 minutes, I need 2 weeks. You want me to talk for an hour, I'll start right now. Okay, good question. Any tips for somebody that panics from initial drawdown after entering? Mike, again, this is not me giving any personal trading advice or anything like that. Maybe take the P&L off your screen. I'm not familiar with every trading platform, but I've used Thinkorswim. I've used TradeStation for many years. I've used Edge Pro X. I've used Trade-O-Eight. I've used TradingView, excuse me. There's a way to take the P&L off. Just concentrate on the mechanics. Again, guys, I know it sucks to blow out an account, or blow out an eval account, but if you're in an eval account, guys, just focus on the mechanics. You blow out, you blow out. Guys, if you can't afford 3 to 4 months of membership fees and say 3 or 4 resets, maybe just paper trade until you can afford that, right? Just because, again, this costs money to make money, but there's, it used to be you needed Well, shoot, it used to be, I'm not sure. I think futures were pattern day trader as well. But, if you wanted to day trade stocks, used to be you had to have $25,000 in your account. That's a hell of a barrier to entry right there. Not a lot of people have, just that. I mean, if I had, wife and kids, I wouldn't have had that when I started 10 years ago, right? Great question. Content filtering. I find there is too much content to the point where it is overwhelming. Guys, this is why eventually you just want to trade your own setups and your own system, right? My attitude has always been in my education, don't give someone a fish, teach them how to fish, right? In this 5-day challenge, guys, I go through my process for building strategies, evaluating strategies, and integrating them into your trading. And guys, that's the fishing pole. It really is. And then it's just a matter of attaching bait and reeling the fish, right? But yeah, just focus on one thing at a time, right? Like, I got really into VWAP for a few years, right? So I'm I would consider myself VWAP's one of the 2 or 3 major setups that I use. Okay, I spent a couple years studying that pretty. It's okay when you first start your first year trading. Learn a little about a lot, but then really zone in on the things that seem to speak to you, right? So just focus on one thing at a time. You want to learn candlestick charts, you want to learn Renko charts, you want to learn this, you want to learn that. Just one thing at a time. Spend a week on one thing, then move on. Taking breaks in between new trades to better clear the mind for the next trade. I understand that mentality, not me specifically. That's not something I specifically do, but yeah, that I can understand that. Okay, looks like Josh has got the names to me here. All right. So let me load these in. Then I will pull the screen share back up. Come on. Yeah, sorry, I'm going to have to use my noisy mouse here. Okay. All right, guys, so come on. Okay, beautiful. So let me pull my screen share back up and we will spin the wheel. All right, guys. So this is for a $25,000 evaluation account. Yeah, good to see you as well, guys. So I will spin this. If you win, Josh will be in contact with you, all right? So don't worry about that. He will reach out. All right, so here is the spin. There you go, Regina. Congratulations. So Josh will be reaching out to you to set that account up. All right, guys. So again, this is part 1 of a 4-part series. I will be back with you next Thursday at 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern. Guys, my name in the Discord is Trader Matt. You are free to direct message me at any time with any questions. Again, if it's in the morning, I sometimes give me 24 hours because sometimes I get, a lot coming in, but I try to be very accessible because that's something not a lot of people in this business are. And some people do it like, well, you got to be inaccessible. It's part of the mystique, right? They only get to talk to the good. No, I want to help people make money, right? I'm spending a lot of time with somebody. Yeah, there'll be a fee for that. But like stuff like this, I like doing. I like helping people out. So, yeah, and again, guys, there's no reason not to take the course because there's no cost for it, right? But that's a way to introduce you to my teaching style a little better. And if you want to work further with me after that, I have a lot of options and a lot of different things depending. I try to personalize everything, guys, right? Especially when I'm really working with somebody, I try to zone in on their specific strengths and weaknesses and go from there. So I'd love to work with you at some point, but let's again, Monday in the Discord, I will be posting links. I will be posting everything. All right. All right, guys, everyone have a great rest of your day. Thank you for joining me. And let's get everyone funded. Let's get people paid. All right. Have a great day, guys. I will talk